That's right, folks, you read the title correctly. This animal went extinct not once, but 2 times. How the is that physically possible? Well, my friends, it's a very interesting story. But first, I would like to share how this creature lived, and then we'll get to the juicy bits. The Pyrenean Ibex, or the bucardo, was one of 4 ibex species in the world, half of which are extinct. That includes this one and the Portuguese ibex, which went extinct over 100 years prior, so things are not going well for them. As the name suggests, they lived in the Pyrenees mountain ranges of Spain, France, Andorra, and Portugal. They preferred to live in rocky cliff habitats with trees and shrubs as well as farmland, migrating to higher altitudes in the spring and lower in the winter where there was less snow. They would feed on grasses, leaves, and forbs. These creatures grew up to 5 feet long and a little over 2 feet high, and lived somewhere between 12 to 17 years. The difference between the sexes was very apparent, starting with the horns. Oh my god, the horns. Males had ginormous horns, like ginormous. Like, if they shook their heads no, someone behind them was getting impaled. You can't tell me otherwise. Anyway, females had significantly smaller horns, as you could probably imagine. One neat fact about these horns is that the ridges can tell you the ibex's age, similar to that of the rings of a tree trunk. Also, males had grayish-brownish fur with black patches during the warmer seasons, meanwhile females had brown without these black patches. During the winter, both of their thin coats would thicken and become dull in color. Their young were born in the month of May and could walk within a day of being born. There honestly isn't a lot to report about their life. Now to death, which actually isn't all that clear. The most likely cause of the creature's demise was probably overhunting or competition for food with livestock. Nonetheless, by the 1900s, there were less than 100 individuals left in the wild. The endling was a female named Celia. She was captured by Spanish researchers, and a clipping from her ear was taken April 20th, 1999. Remember this is important. Sadly, she was found crushed to death by a fallen tree in the National Park of Ordesa, Spain, January 6, 2000. Like, what are the chances of that? Is this some kind of sick Immediately following Celia's death, a cloning project was initiated. The DNA contained within Celia's ear clipping, stored in liquid nitrogen, would be the key component in the attempt to revive the species. Now, what I'm about to say is a lot of complicated science stuff, so just bear with me here. Scientists removed nuclei from the eggs of domestic goats and injected Celia's into them. This process was repeated 285 times. Then these eggs were implanted into extant ibex and goat hybrid surrogates. Of the 54 to 57 implantations, only 2 managed to survive past gestation, and only 1 made it until birth. After 3 years of hard work, Celia's clone was born January 30th, 2003. Unfortunately, as we know, this revolutionary scientific victory was very, and I mean very, short-lived. Literally. She died within just 7 minutes of birth, suffering from a lung defect. So, this makes the Pyrenean Ibex the only animal to go extinct twice in history.